श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam again today. So we have been talking about the various tattvas. We discussed about the Jeev tattva, Shakti tattva, and now currently we are talking about the Bhakti tattva. So yesterday we discussed about that Bhakti is such a powerful means if one want to understand, one want to attain the perfect knowledge, the knowledge about Krishna. As Krishna also confirms, Bhakti Amam Abhijanati. Through bhakti, through devotional service only, one can understand Krishna. There's no other way. So we understood the bhakti should be ahetuki apratiyada. It should be unmotivated. It should be uninterrupted. It should be pure in intention. It should be consistent in action. That is one important aspect of bhakti, number one. And second, we understand the byproducts of bhakti is jnanam and vairagyam. The jnanam, the perfect knowledge, the knowledge about Krishna, and we discussed about the story of the Jambavan. That how that finally when Jambavan fought with Krishna and by hitting him, punching him, and then he understood by that seva. So seva, the devotional service, the bhakti means devotional service. So through that service, he understood that he cannot be none other than my Lord. He is Supreme Lord. He understood that. So that was the learning that through bhakti, through the seva, a sincere, practical, devotional, loving devotional service, only one can understand God. Simply just by knowledge, some yoga, some dhyan, some meditation, all those things can help, but one can never come to understand Krishna. If one really want to understand, really want to progress, then there should be some practical devotional service. So yesterday we learned that, and after understood Jambavan, then he realized, oh, I was fighting with my own Lord. Then he wanted to pacify the Lord. So he pacified. First of all, he offered that Shamantaka jewel to the Lord as a gift. And also to pacify, he offered his own daughter. So he offered the daughter, his name was Jambavati, Jambavan's daughter Jambavati. So he also offered in marriage to Krishna. So Jambavati is one of the wife of Krishna. And then Krishna returned back to Dwarika, and then everyone was so happy uh, that Krishna is back and not alone with one wife. And then the Satrajit, who was spreading the rumor against Krishna, right? He also felt so ashamed that I was unnecessary spreading the rumor against Krishna and bringing the bad name to Krishna. So he stand there feeling ashamed, putting his head down and beg forgiveness. And then Krishna came and Krishna gave that jewel to Satyajit, that this is what you wanted and you thought that I'm greedy for this. I don't want it. I got it for you. Take it. But he was so ashamed. He says, oh my dear Lord, please don't, make me feel more embarrassed now. I already realized my mistake. Please forgive me and please accept this jewel, from my side as a gift, and also accept my daughter as your wife, just to pacify. So Satyajit's daughter is Satyabhama. So then Krishna got married to Satyabhama also. So see how Krishna got married to Jambavati and the Satyabhama also. So this is the story. We'll learn that. Now, today we'll talk a little bit more about this Bhakti Tattva. It will talk, there's so much to discuss and understand about Bhakti. So another feature of this Bhakti is that the nature of the Bhakti is it makes one free from the fear. So in the second canto, this verse comes which says, Tasmad Bharat Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishwaro Harihi श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मृतव्यश्च अच्युता भयम्. तस्मात् सर्वात्मा Bharata Sarvatma, or descent of King Bharata, one who desired to be free from all miseries, from all the bhayam. So then it has been recommended one must Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smritavyascha Ichchada Bhayam. Shrotavyascha, one should hear about Krishna. Kirtitavyascha, one should glorify Krishna. And also Asmritavyascha, one should remember Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, who is the controller. and then one can become free from all the miseries, all the fear. So this is why it is very, very important that every day we hear about Krishna, and as the Bhagavatam says, that it is Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya. Every day, Nitya means every day. It cannot be just weekends or it can be once in a while, but every day one should read or hear about Krishna. And not only just hear, you hear first, Shravanam, then Dhyanam, Mananam, then Dhyanam. Mananam means the contemplation, Dhyanam means the absorption. When the absorption will happen, Mananam, contemplation will happen, then next is Kirtanam will happen. When you observe something, you understand something, then naturally you want to share with others. So first the Shravanam, it begins with the Shravan. The Bhakti begins with the Shravanam, hearing. So what we are doing here, all of us in this auspicious month of Kartik, uh, every day we come here together and we try to hear something about Krishna, some stories, some pastimes, some teachings, some lessons from Krishna consciousness. So this is the beginning of bhakti. And when we do that, when you hear some of the points which you remember, which resonates with you the most, then you should go and share with others. It can be your family members, it can be your friends, your colleagues, or anyone. Just one or two points you can share. So after Shravanam, it will become Kirtanam. Kirtanam means glorifying, talking, sharing, and more you hear and more you share and talk about Krishna, then naturally the smaranam, the remembrance, will follow. And when we do that, uh, Shrotavya, Kirtitavyascha, Smratavyascha, Ichchata Abhayam, it will give you Abhaya, fear. You see, in this material world, this is a constant emotion, which is the fear. Shoka, Moha, Bhayapaha, lamentation, attachments, and the fear. Everybody is just constantly lamenting and then fearing. How to become free from this fear? Not easy for common man. So here is the process. By hearing about Krishna, observing ourselves in hearing about Krishna, sharing about Krishna, and then remembering Krishna can make one free from all the fear. In this connection, there is a nice story that today we'll discuss from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I would like to narrate that. The story of this great devotee named Amrish Maharaj. He was an emperor, extremely wealthy, but completely detached. Great devotee, though he's the king, but completely detached from material enjoyment. So these people are called in the scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses the word called Raj Rishis. They're the Rajas, they're the kings, but their life is not the life of sense enjoyment, but they are the great devotees. So he was one such Raj Rishi, that he was extremely wealthy, opulent king, yet completely detached from this material enjoyment. So he ruled the entire world, but his mind was always fixed on Lord Sri Krishna. And in this connection, there is a very, very nice verse that Prabhupada many times quoted this verse in the from the Srimad Bhagavatam. It says, Savai mana Krishna padara vindayo vacham vakunta gunanu varnane. Right. So that how this Amrish Maharaj teaches that though he is so busy in this world, but at the same time, how he engaged himself we can learn from, because most of us fall in that category that we are busy in this world with our job and some other worldly responsibilities, but at the same time how we can be completely absorbed in Krishna. So Amrish Maharaj, he teaches by his example, and Prabhupada quote this particular verse from the ninth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam many times. He says, Savai mana Krishna padarvindyo. His mind was fully focused on Krishna padarvindyo, Nanda Krishna's lotus feet. Vacham si Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. The mind should be focused on Krishna's lotus feet. Vacha or words should be used for Vaikuntha Gunanu Varnane. Vaikuntha is another name of Krishna. So Krishna Gunanu Varnane, Varnana of Krishna qualities. So talking about Krishna. This is how our words should be used. Then Karau Harer Mandir Marjana. Karau means the hands. Hand should be engaged in Harer Mandir Marjana Adishu. The Mandir Marjan. Do some seva in the temple. Whatever seva, how much ever you can do. Go and do some practical devotional service. Shrutim Chakar Achyuta Kathodaye. Hearing about always Krishna. Mukuddalingalaya Darshane Darshau. Darshan. The eyes are engaged in Mukundalingalaya, going and having the darshan of the Mukunda, the Supreme Lord. So hands are engaged in seva, eyes are engaged in seeing Krishna, mind is engaged in lotus feet of Krishna, words are engaged in talking about Krishna, discussing about Krishna, and then Granam chatat pad saroj saurabhe. Granam, that smelling, the nose is engaged in tat pad saroj saurabhe. The tulsi, the flower which is offered at the lotus feet of Krishna, and then smelling that flower, the prasad of Krishna. Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tavarpide. Padav Haresh Kshetra Padanusarpane. And the feet, the legs should be engaged in Haresh Kshetra Padanusarpane, going to the temple. So like that, a very beautiful verse where it is taught to us that how one should be engaged, completely absorbed while we are engaged in this worldly affairs in this world. So many roles and responsibilities. So this Amrish Maharaj, a great devotee, is counted here. So what happens? This Amrish Maharaj, one time, 1 year, he observed the Ekadashi very, very strictly, very sincerely. He fasted and then he wanted to break the Ekadashi next day, and the day of Dwadasi. And that one very auspicious time of Dwadashi, that particular muhurt, that he has to break the Ekadashi. And right at that moment, a great sage called Durvasha Muni, he arrived. He arrived with many, many disciples. So the Amrish Maharaj very respectfully respected him and then requested him to take some prasad. So Durvasa Muni says, okay, we'll take the prasad. We'll go and take bath first in the river and we'll come back and have the prasad. But he took little longer, going for the bath and getting ready and all of that. But here, this auspicious time to break, it was about to pass. Now he has observed this Ekadashi and that particular time he has to break. So then he was getting little, you know, concerned that what to do. He is not here and he is the Brahman, he is the guest. And without feeding the guest, how can I eat first? So this is the culture. This is the injunction in the scriptures when some guests come to your house, especially some Brahmana, some devotees, Vaishnavas, they come. So this is the culture that they should be first, given all the respects and welcome, and then finally they should be given the prasad, and then only the host should take the prasad. This is the culture. Unfortunately, in this modern age, people might be missing, but this is the culture that we learn from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was waiting, but at the same time, the Muhurt was passing. So some of the very learned Brahmanas there in the assembly, they advised that there is a way out. We understand that you cannot eat without eating Durvasha Muni eating. But what you can do is you can take one drop of water, which is considered as breaking the fast. At the same time, it is not breaking your injunction of eating something. You do not eat anything. Take one drop. So your fast is broken within that auspicious muhurta. He said that's a good idea, and these brahmanas are suggesting. So he did that. He took just merely one drop of water. And when Durvasa Muni returned, he became furious. He says, "What do you think of yourself? You doesn't even know the basics and how to respect a brahmana, and you dishonored me." And like that, he became very, very angry, and to the extent that in anger he created a fiery demon, and the demon to kill Amrish Maharaj. He went to that extent, but Amrish Maharaj, he did not even move. He didn't move an inch. He simply just remembered Krishna. So we are talking about that Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smritavyascha Ichchata Bhayam, that just by remembering Krishna, thinking about Krishna, one can become free from the fear. So he became so fearless that when this demon appeared to kill him, he did not even move. He was completely fearless, right? And he was just remembering Krishna, chanting Krishna's name, praying to Krishna, because the devotee always knows one thing, and we should all remember this. Prabhupada quotes many times, says devotee should always remember this. Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. If Krishna wants to kill someone, nobody can protect. And if Krishna wants to protect, nobody can even touch that person. So devotee is always in that consciousness. And in that consciousness, he naturally and automatically becomes completely free from the fear. So Durvasha Muni, Amrish Maharaj, he was completely free from the fear. And somebody asked Srila Prabhupada one time that, Prabhupada, when you chant Hare Krishna, what do you feel? And Prabhupada says, when I chant Hare Krishna, I feel fearless. So devotee naturally, just by chanting and remembering Krishna, he knows that Krishna is there, all powerful. So many times people, I'm very fearful of this thing, that thing, how to become free from fear. and let me try this, let me make more money, let me earn this much, let me save this much, let me build some connections, and then I'll become fearless. No, we should remember from the scriptures, we should understand that the fearlessness does not come uh, by becoming dependent on so many things, but it comes by having that staunch faith in Krishna's protection. When devotee remembers that Krishna will protect me, Mare Krishna rakhege, rage Krishna marege, what is there for me to fear? So here, coming back to our story, that how this Amrish Maharaj was completely fearless. And in the meantime, what happened? Krishna was furious. He says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhaktya pranashyati. Krishna says, I can tolerate all the insult to me, but I cannot tolerate if anybody try to harm my devotee. Prabhupada gives the example like, some big man, some powerful man, somebody goes and insult him. Sometimes he is nice person, he goes, okay, I don't care. If somebody is insulting me, abusing me, he can tolerate the insult to himself. But if anybody try to hurt or harm the son of a rich or powerful man, he will not tolerate. He will teach them the lesson. So Krishna is like that. Krishna doesn't tolerate, if somebody try to harm his devotees. So immediately Krishna released the Sudarshan Chakra behind this Durvaja Muni, and then Durvaja started running, and this Sudarshan is chasing. He's flooding all around the universe from top to bottom. He went all the way to Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, and finally he could reach even to Lord Vishnu. Say, Lord, please help me. This Sudarshan is chasing me. It can kill me at any time. Nobody could save, including Lord Vishnu. He said that I cannot help. I'm completely dependent on my devotees. My heart is with them. I cannot help. The only way is, I can tell you, is that you go and beg forgiveness from Amrish Maharaj. If he forgives, Sudarshan will forgive you, but otherwise, I cannot help. So then finally, Durvasa returned, trembling in fear. Amrish Maharaj, however, he has no hatred at all, and he has been waiting without eating so long. That sage has to return and I had to feed him. This is my duty. Brahmana came as a guest to my house and I couldn't feed. So he was feeling so bad and he continued his fasting further. In that such humility and compassion, by seeing that, Durvasha Muni was also astonished, and then this Amrish Maharaj very happily he just forgave. So this is the story of becoming fearless. That how one can become fearless. Many many lessons can be learned from this story. Maybe three or four lessons just to close our discussion today. That how one thing is that this Durvasa Muni is a very very powerful mystic yogi. But pure devotion is always higher than yoga, dhyana, karma, everything. In front of pure devotion of Amrish Maharaj, his mystic powers also did not work. So devotion, pure devotion to Krishna is the highest one should aspire for, right? And also as Krishna promises that I personally protect my devotees. And we see here that how Krishna released Sudarshan Chakra. So when somebody is sincerely dependent on Krishna, Krishna personally takes the responsibility. We should always remember. So our aspiration or ambitions or all our energy and efforts should be only for one thing, that how to develop that complete dependence on Krishna. If we can develop that in this life, our life is done. Krishna will take care. Sardharman Bharitaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Krishna says, come to me. I'll take care of rest of your everything. So Krishna personally protects. And another important thing is that verse. That real spirituality means engaging all our senses in Krishna's seva, which we learn from the example of Amrish Maharaj, that how his mind, his eyes, his legs, his words, his hands, and every single part and single limbs, a single limb of his body was engaged in Krishna's service. So we should also think that how I can engage myself more and more in Krishna's seva. And one last lesson that we should learn from this is that offending a devotee is a recipe to disaster. Offending a Vaishnava is spiritually dangerous. See, this Durvasha Muni, though, is such a powerful sage, but he offended a devotee of Krishna. His life was in danger. So one should be very, very careful that, Prabhupada many times repeatedly, he warned about Vaishnava Aparadha, offense to devotee. So one should be very, very respectful, very careful, very humble, very cautious in dealings with devotees. Knowingly, unknowingly, if we commit an offense, that is very, very dangerous for our spiritual life. So these are some of the lessons and these are the stories. Today's theme was that how the process of bhakti makes a devotee fearless. Okay. So we'll stop with this. And again, it's a gentle reminder to all of you in this auspicious month of Purushottam, we encourage and try to inspire all of you that not only just you come and listen here, that is definitely appreciated, but also take your time and chant at least minimum one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day at your convenience, whenever you get the time. If you can chant more, but at least those who are not chanting, you can start chanting one round of Hare Krishna Mantra. And there is a tracker in the group description. So please go and put in the tracker, and then we'll uh, you know we'll give you the reward. We'll announce the names that those who have been the most consistent in their chanting throughout the month. And the idea is basically to build up that habit to continue even after this Purushottam month. Okay, so please do chant and put in the tracker. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.